This video is going to go out to Charlie is so cool like, and the reason for this, I saw his video doing survey questions, and I decided to go ahead and write these survey questions down, and I'm going to give my own answers to these and see what he thinks about them. Okay, let's begin. First of all, my name is Ted. I'm not going to give you a ton of other information about this. Let me tell you something. One of the things that you have to keep in mind is that when you start giving out your full name, your full address, so on and so forth, identity thieves get a hold of this kind of stuff, and then they can go around and use it as a means of stealing your ID. So I don't like to give a whole ton of personal information on here. I know I've given some, but I'm not going to give everything away. Certainly you're not going to see the outside of my house because I don't want people to find me. Okay? It's nothing personal. It's just that there are a lot of people out there that are not very nice. There are a lot of people who are, but there are also a lot of people who are not. And I don't want the unnice people to find me. It just wouldn't be a good thing. Alright. The most expensive casual item of clothing. Well, you want to talk about casual item of clothing. These are Dr. Scholl's tennis shoes, and they run about 30 bucks a pop. But, first of all, the reason I have these is that I have orthotics. Nothing big time there. Lots of people have them. You probably aren't even aware that people have these orthotics, but they do. I happen to have some of my own, and Dr. Scholl's is a good shoe to have when you're wearing orthotics. However, the most expensive item of clothing I've ever had, believe it or not, give me a second, is this baby. Look at this. Hope you can see this. This is my winter parka. And you're probably asking yourself, why in the living thunder do I have a full-blown winter parka when I live in the good old city of Decatur, Illinois? Well, there's a reason for that. You see, when wintertime does actually come, there are times when I have to go outside and do outdoor work. And believe me, I don't want to freeze. I like to stay very warm. And that keeps me very warm. Okay, let's go on here. First kiss, that was with a beautiful lady that I had. I met her. I was 5 years out of high school, and she was not well. And that was the first person I ever kissed. She loved me terribly, and I loved her too. Unfortunately, she passed away a year after I met her. And I have never found a young lady quite like her. And if I ever do, I'll never let her go. But that's as much as you're going to find out from me on a video like this. I'm not going to tell you anymore. Sorry, but there are some things I do keep private. First gig. Well, I'm not a musician, so I don't have a gig. There you go. First job wanted as a kid. Let me tell you something. While all those other kids in school were sitting there and reading all the automobile magazines, the girls were reading all the sewing magazines and the fashion magazines and the beauty magazines and all this other stuff, I was the one reading the computer magazines. It was real easy. Nobody else wanted to read them, so I got the chance to read them myself. Nobody else cared, but I did. I've always wanted to be a data processor, and I am a data processor. I've always wanted to be in technology. I'm into technology. That's just the way it is. A lot of people say, well, you do all these videos. Were you ever in photography? No, I really had not that much interest in photography. Especially, you've got to keep in mind that when I was in high school, most of the time I was watching a black and white television set. Do you honestly think that I get into black and white photography now? If it ain't color, I don't even see it. That's the way it is. And I know you people are saying, well, if you're so scholarly, why do you constantly use the word ain't? It's just a slang expression, okay? I use it as a slang term. In proper dictation, you don't use things like that, but when you're trying to get people's attention, that's the way you do it. So, Sometimes I'll stand there and act like a country person, and I'll just say the word ain't on a regular basis just to get your dang attention. Let's go on here. Strangest food I've ever eaten. Well, my dad one time drugged me to a Chinese buffet. I don't know what the heck I ate, but I tell you what, it was very strange food. And I didn't like it very much. So at least he didn't feed me some dang calamari. Thankfully, I was well out of high school before he did that. But anyway, I was not thrilled with, yeah, you get the idea. Name your kids. Name my kids. Well, I don't have any kids. I don't plan to have any kids. It's a long story, and I'm not going to tell you the whole thing. You're just going to have to eat it, because I don't tell you everything. And I don't have to either. I'm your YouTube teacher. I don't have to tell you anything. I tell you things on a as I want you to know basis, and I just don't want to tell you anything. Alright, favorite school teacher. I've had a lot of favorite school teachers. My kindergarten teacher, my second grade teacher, my geography teacher in high school. He was a great teacher. My freshman math teacher, he was also my teacher in 7th and 8th grade mathematics. Very good teacher. I really have to give him some high praise. Let me think. My 4th grade teacher was pretty cool too. I have to give you that. She was pretty cool. I'm trying to think of some others. Nothing's coming to the top of my head right now, but I'm sure if I'm ever asked again, I'll probably pop up with something else. So, don't take anything for granted at this point. Alright. Group of school friends. Well, I had two very good friends when I was in high school. They were... Now, you got to keep in mind, I was at a unit school, okay? Everybody from kindergarten to the senior year was in the same dang building. Okay, this building had 3 sections, one for the elementary, one for the junior high, one for the high school. And so my two best friends at that time went with me all the way from kindergarten to my senior year. And unfortunately, one of those has recently passed away. And I'm sorry that he's gone. I had another friend. She is still very much around. And I visit her and her family quite regularly. So, there you go. Let's see. Favorite place in the world? Favorite place in the world? Well, I don't just have one favorite place. Lake Decatur in Decatur, Illinois, that is one of my most favorite places. There's a long story to that. Maybe one of these days I'll tell you, but I'm not going to tell you in this particular video because I'll just waste too much of your time. Springfield, Illinois is one of my favorite places. So is Champaign. They're not that far from me, and they got a lot of cool stuff that Decatur does not. So, those are my favorite places. Who do you want to answer the survey next? I don't care. If anybody wants to answer, they're more than welcome. So, there you go. There you have it. Whew. Not much else to say at this point. Are there any questions that I would want Charlie is so cool like to answer? How about this? Can you go an entire day without your smartphone? I'll even give you this. If you want to use it just strictly as a telephone and for nothing else, you can go ahead and do that. But can you spend a whole day without having that smartphone as anything other than a cellular phone? Bet you can't. Do you have any historical signs or plaques or statues anywhere near you? If you do, I'd love to see them in a video response right down here. I'd love to see what's close by. And I bet you probably walk around TARDISes every day. You know, those little police boxes. I bet you do that a lot. Go ahead and tell me whether you do or don't. So, trying to think. I don't think I could think of another question at this moment, but I think I'll come up with some more, and maybe I'll ask you then. But, in the meantime, this is Ted the Speed Learner signing off. I will tell you more in a future video, so stay tuned.